Hello, my name is Keith, and in this video I'm going to talk about the fifth precept in Buddhism. The fifth precept is Sura Maraya Maja Pamadatana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. What a mouthful. Sura Maraya Maja Pamadatana. Well, let's not go into the full etymological breakdown. It's talking about intoxicants that lead to heedlessness. It's talking about intoxicants, things that cloud the mind and cause you to behave in ways that, if you didn't have a clouded mind, you perhaps would not choose to behave in that way. That's what we mean by that. Now, that is usually interpreted as alcohol or drugs and any sort of intoxicant, narcotics, that sort of thing, that affect our mental state. And so we undertake to abstain from taking intoxicants. Now, there are Buddhists who will drink. There are some very good practicing Buddhists who will drink, and they perhaps will have a glass of wine once a week with a meal or something like that, taking the view that it won't cause them to be intoxicated in such small amounts. And if we consider a country like, I think in Japan, they have a festival once a year where, even though they are predominantly a Buddhist society, they all get very, very, very drunk indeed. So, um, where do we go with this? And within Vajrayana, within skillful means, there may be some practices that involve the consumption of intoxicants and noticing and being mindful of our body's responses to them. Where do we go with this? Is alcohol bad or not? And if we're thinking in those terms, then we really are stuck in some sort of Abrahamic or Judeo-Christian conditioning where we think that this is bad, this is good. It's not like that at all in Buddhism. The Buddha didn't give the precepts as laws to follow, and he didn't say, don't drink alcohol because it's bad. This, again, is quite different to other religions. So I don't drink alcohol, and I haven't drunk alcohol for many, many, many years. Um, when did I give up alcohol? 2007, I think. 2006 or 2000. I think it was 2007 was when I gave up alcohol. So why did I give up alcohol? Was it because I became a Buddhist? Well, no. In the same way as I didn't stop stealing stuff because I was a Buddhist, or I didn't stop killing things because I was a Buddhist, or I didn't stop um, having sex with my siblings because I was a Buddhist. I wouldn't have stolen anyway. I wouldn't have had sex with my siblings anyway. I wouldn't have killed things anyway. And you see, it's not because I'm a Buddhist that I don't do these things. I have a moral conscience, I have an ethical compass, which I follow. And there are a variety of things that I can't see myself doing because I understand the harm that they would cause to me, the harm they would cause to others. And in the case of alcohol in 2007, I decided to stop drinking because I understood the harm it did to me. And through that, the harm it would do to others as well. I decided to stop drinking alcohol. Okay, so does that mean that I was influenced by Buddhism? Well, maybe it was through meditation that I started observing the detrimental impact that drinking alcohol had on me. But then again, I wouldn't say it's because of Buddhism that I stopped drinking. I do think that one's religion should be informed by one's behavior, one's predilections, the way one wishes to live their life, what one feels is right should inform their religion. I don't think it should be the other way around. I don't think someone should choose a religion and then go, right, okay, now what am I allowed to do and what am I not allowed to do? I think that is completely back to front. That sort of view leads to, I think, in my opinion, leads to extremism, leads to people saying, well, you're not allowed to do that because this religion says so, and it's true because it's the religion I believe in. No, I don't think that's healthy. The Buddha has decided to tell people, did decide to tell people that they should abstain from taking intoxicants because intoxicants lead to a lack of mindfulness. And when you are not mindful, then you are more likely to do other things that can cause harm. We know alcohol is harmful. We just take alcohol as the example of the intoxicant. We know it's harmful. From a biological, from a physiological point of view, it can cause mouth cancer, bowel cancer, stomach cancer, um, higher blood pressure. Um, what else? Stroke, heart disease. We know that the effect of drinking something which is a poison is detrimental to us. We know that. However, we also know that alcoholic drinks can taste quite nice. Now, you can get alcohol-free versions, and some of them are very good, some of them aren't. And some people might argue that as long as they're drinking mindfully and not consuming so much alcohol that it is affecting their mindfulness, then they're not breaking the fifth precept. Well, that's their choice. And in a way, that is more ethical than saying, I'm not going to drink alcohol because it says so in the precept. That's back to front. That means you're not engaging your ethical side to your practice. You're following rules. Ethics isn't about following rules, it's about trying to minimize harm to yourself and to others. And so just saying I'm not drinking alcohol because it's a breach of the fifth precept, or waggling your finger at other people who do drink alcohol when they are practicing Buddhists, none of that is good practice. That's all unskillful. So the Buddha said that we should abstain from drinking alcohol, but that doesn't mean that because the Buddha has said it, we all must follow it. That's not that sort of religion, that what the Buddha says everyone must obey. That being said, these training rules are there for a good reason. So I, quite a few years actually, a couple of years ago, I had been teetotal, not drinking alcohol for way more than a decade at that point. And at Christmas, I decided to celebrate with a bottle of lager shandy. Now, this is lager shandy with 0.5% by volume alcohol or less. So it's counted as alcohol free or non alcoholic. Those two terms are slightly different in law, and I don't know which way around it is. So look it up. Let me know in the comments. But anyway, these bottles, you can buy them if you are 10 years old. You know, there's no legal age restriction on purchasing this lager shandy in big 2 litre bottles from the supermarket because it's alcohol free or non alcoholic. It's got almost no alcohol. It's got less alcohol in it than orange juice has. So 0.5% alcohol by volume. And I drank 2 litres of this drink in a very short amount of time because I'm fairly enormous. I'm 2 meters tall and over 100, about 120 kilos. So when I just sit down and drink squash or water or anything like that, I tend to drink quite a lot. I need a lot of fluid in my body. So I sat there with this big 2 litre bottle, drank the lot, and what would the alcohol equivalent have been for that? 5% by volume. Well, if it's the same, I suppose, as 1% alcohol, 1 litre of it, or half a litre of 2% alcohol, or a quarter of a litre of 4% alcohol. Well, 4% alcohol is a pretty standard alcoholic quantity for beer. And a quarter of a litre is smaller than a can of Diet Coke. It's a very, very small quantity of alcohol indeed. Right, it's tiny little cans. Most people, especially adults who drink alcohol from time to time, or even adults who habitually drink alcohol, would not even notice that amount of alcohol in their system. But I noticed there was a settling down of my senses. I noticed a deadening of my awareness. Very, very subtle, but I felt that there was that deadening. Then I checked the label and saw it was 0.5% alcohol and did the calculations and thought, oh, I have actually consumed alcohol here. And I can feel the effect of such a small amount of alcohol. Whereas if I drank a glass of wine once a week as a practicing Buddhist and thought, well, I'm not getting intoxicated with this, well, that's fine. If that's your practice and you don't get intoxicated with a glass of wine a week or whatever, that's fine. Me, I know from experience, from that 2 litre bottle of lager shandy, I know that it would have an impact on my mindfulness. So I choose not to drink. I choose not to drink alcohol. But it's not just alcohol. Intoxicants take many forms. And one of the biggest intoxicants for me at the moment is the use of my mobile phone. So social media, short videos. The internet's full of them. Facebook has short videos, Instagram has short videos, YouTube has short videos, TikTok is entirely short videos where you sit there and you swipe through them, and it has a response. Your body produces, your brain produces some happy hormones because you're getting this instant gratification, and that is intoxicating. We know young people can be become easily addicted to their phones. They can become very easily addicted to social media because of that instant gratification, and it deadens their mindfulness. So mobile phone use in that way is an intoxicant, and it's something that I struggle with. Junk food. Donuts. Yes, one of the worst things that ever happened was we discovered that Sainsbury's and I think Tesco as well, not sure, but Greggs definitely. Donuts from Greggs, donuts from Sainsbury's are safe for vegans. They don't contain any animal products. You can buy 5 donuts for £1. I think the price has gone up. It might be £1.25 now at the time of recording. Inflation. £1.25. That's 25 pence for a donut. Those donuts are about 300 or 400 calories each, full of sugar and fat, and they are amazing. They are quick fix. And when I say that, I mean that. They are intoxicating. Sugar is addictive. It is intoxicating. And so, but I consume them. I don't consume alcohol, and I don't want to consume alcohol. I have no desire to consume alcohol. In the same way as I've got no desire to go out and steal stuff or kill anyone. I don't have the desire to do that. I don't have the desire to drink alcohol, but I still have the desire to consume junk food and to swipe through my phone mindlessly. And so that is a challenge. I have to be mindful of the fifth precept. It's a training rule, so I have to constantly try to keep it in mind and try to be careful of what I eat and what I consume. So the positive side to this precept is, with mindfulness clear and radiant, I purify my mind. So we've talked about body actions with the first, second, and third precept. We've talked about communication, speech, with the fourth precept. With the fifth precept, we're trying to sort out our mind. Now, no one else can access our mind, but our mind is what affects everything else. Our mind affects the world around us, how we view it. Our mind affects how we communicate with people. Our mind affects the actions that we take. Our mind is in charge. And so our aim is to purify that, make it more like the Buddha. And we do that by trying to make it, and the wording here is clear and radiant. Clear and radiant. We want to have clear and radiant mindfulness. In other words, we want to be mindful of everything around us, everything that we're engaged in, everything we're doing. We want to maintain that mindfulness throughout our day, not just when we're sat on the meditation cushion. And that's hard to do. That's why it's a training rule. It is training. We're working towards being like the Buddha as much as we can. And I think that's probably enough on that. So that brings us to the end of the 5 precepts, which brings us to the end of this very quick introduction to the ethical side, Shila, the ethical side of that threefold practice. Yes, which was ethics, mindfulness, and what was the other one? Wisdom. Ethics, mindfulness, and wisdom. So we're going to talk about developing mindfulness, meditation, that sort of thing in the next bunch of videos. And I hope you join us for that as well. See you soon.